In this video blog, I'd like to talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy, when it's used, the benefits it can provide, how the process basically works. Chapter 13 is used for individuals who make too much money. If the court believes that you have what's known as disposable income left at the end of each month, then the court will not allow you to file under Chapter 7. Instead, you have to file under Chapter 13, and during the length of the Chapter 13 bankruptcy, you have to pay into the plan each month that amount of money that the court considers is your disposable income. The second common area where a Chapter 13 case is used is where an individual has a significant amount of tax debt and wants to take advantage of a very advantageous repayment plan. In another video blog, I talk more about taxes and bankruptcy, and I would encourage you to take a look at that if you have more questions. But as a general rule, in a Chapter 13 case, you simply divide the amount of the tax liability by 60 and repay that over 5 years in monthly installments, and the tax debt is dealt with in that way. Typically, you don't have to pay interest on the tax liability, and all interest and penalties on the tax debt cease accruing the second the case is filed. So it's a very nice result and very difficult to obtain in any other way with tax liability. Another reason individuals will file under Chapter 13 is if they are behind on their house and want to keep the home and get caught up on the arrearages. Let's say, for example, an individual loses their job, the mortgage payment is $2,000 a month, and they don't make the mortgage payment for 6 months, so they're $12,000 behind on their mortgage. What you can do in a Chapter 13 case is simply repay the arrearages over 60 months, and like with taxes, you can typically get the court and the banks to agree that you can repay the arrearages at 0% interest. So you would simply take the amount that's owed, in this example $12,000, divide it by 60, make that payment each month, and so long as you also stay current on your first mortgage going forward, then you get caught up on the arrearages in that way, which is typically the best deal that individuals are able to obtain. A third reason that individuals will choose Chapter 13 is if they have a second and third mortgage on their property, and the house is worth less than the first mortgage. In another video log, I talk about wiping out second and third mortgages in greater detail, but it basically works like this. If the house is worth less than the first mortgage, then we can obtain a court order wiping out the second and/or second and third mortgages, and they would then be treated just like credit cards. You can't wipe out second or third mortgages in a Chapter 7 case. You can only do that in a Chapter 13 case. So that is another area where people typically use the Chapter 13 process. So in sum, Chapter 13 is typically used by individuals who make too much money, if they have tax liability and want to get caught up, if they are behind on their mortgage payments and want to get caught up, or if they have a second and third mortgage and want to wipe out that debt, then they use Chapter 13 as the vehicle to obtain those results.